Hello everyone, it's Marion from Wool Thread Paint here, and today my video tutorial is to show you how to make the Holly Square in the NOEL 9 patch blanket, which is the Christmas blanket for 2021. You will know from the pattern that it's a series of 9 blocks which I'm attaching together, and one of the repeating features of the blocks is this Holly Square. So this is what we're going to do today. It is basically a granny square with the addition of, in the third round, the addition of what's called front post stitches, and that's really the only thing that's different from a normal granny square, and I'll show you how to do that. Now I'm working with Stylecraft Special DK, and the colours I'm using are lipstick for the red. I don't know if I can let you see that lipstick colour, Lincoln, cream and cypress, and we're going to start with the lipstick for the centre. Now this starts off in exactly the same way as a normal granny square. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a slip stitch onto the hook and chain 4, which is the beginning of the first circle. So once we've chained 4, you're going to find that very first chain and slip stitch into it, and that brings that 4 chains into a circle and forms a loop with a centre, which we're going to work into. Now for the beginning of round 1, I'm going to chain 2, and that is the equivalent of the first treble stitch, and then I'm going to make 2 treble stitches into the circle. Yarn over, put your hook into the circle, pull up the yarn, yarn over again, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. That's a triple stitch. Then I'm going to chain 2 and make 3 triples into the circle. And chain 2 again. These chain 2 spaces form the corners of the square. So I've got to do this again, 3 triples and chain 2, and you can see that I've done, so far I've done 3 groups of 3 trebles, so I've got 1 more to do, which will make it a nice square shape. 3 trebles, chain 2, and then you just need to look for the top of the first chain 2 that you made, the top chain, put your hook into that and pull through and pull through, and that is your first round. So we don't need to continue with this colour, so we can snip it off and finish off by pulling through. So that's the centre of your square. At this point I'm going to flip it over to the wrong side, just give that a little tug, but you can tighten it up later, and we're going to work the next round on the wrong side. And for the next colour I'm going to take the lighter of the 2 greens, which is Lincoln, and just attach in a corner and chain 2 for the first treble. 1, 2, So we've got 2 trebles to put into that corner, and that's half of that corner made. And then we're going to skip over the top of these 3 trebles and find the next corner and put in 3 trebles, chain 2 and 3 more trebles. That really squares off that corner nicely. Oops, pull that one back. Third time lucky. I'm trying to go fast, you see, to get round the sides. Right, so we've got 1 complete corner made, and I can make the other 2, and then I'm back to where we started, and we only had half of that corner made, so we'll have to finish it off. Now, the one thing, because you're working with 4 colours, there will be a lot of ends to sew in, but I think that's all very worth it for the look of the square. And last 3 in this corner. I think I've made yeah, that's it. And then I've just got, see where we started? We started with that first corner. We put in 1 group of 2 chains and then 2 trebles. So we've got 3 more trebles to put in to finish off the corner. And then chain 2, and then we find the top of the first, chain 2 and slip stitch through that, and we can cut that yarn. And that is the second round of the granny square. So for the third round, and this is the one where we're going to put the front post stitches in, we're going to use the darker shade, which is Cypress, and again I'm going to flip this. I'm just going to let all these ends lie just now until I finish the square. I tend to do a complete square and then sew in the ends. So again, I'm going to attach my yarn in any corner, and I've flipped this over, and chain 2 as normal, and 2 more trebles in that corner, and this is where we do slightly differently. So what I want to do is I want to, instead of working 3 trebles in this space, which is what you would assume you would do, I'm actually going to work 3 double trebles through the posts of the red treble stitches in the first round. Now the post, when you think of a treble stitch, you've got the long vertical part of it and then the little stitch across the top, and this vertical part is called the post, and we're actually going to work our double treble stitch through that, around that post, rather than into the space of the previous round. So to do a double treble, you wrap your yarn twice around the hook, then pop your hook down and look for that first post and put your hook underneath it, yarn over, pull through, and give it quite, keep it reasonably loose because you want to bring it back up to the height of round 3. Yarn over again, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and that is your double treble front post stitch. And we've got 3 of these to do. So wrap your yarn twice round the hook, find the middle stitch and put your hook underneath it. Grab your yarn and pull it through. Bring it up a little bit, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Third one, twice round the hook, and the third of the 3 treble stitches in the red, yarn over, pull through your loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And what's happening is that your long double treble stitches have come right over the top of the pale green and are sitting over the top and into the 3 stitches of the lipstick. So then we're onto a corner and we're just going to treat that as a normal granny square. So it's just yarn over once for a treble stitch and make 1 treble, 2 trebles, 3 trebles, and 2 chains. Can you hear the rain? Sorry, it's suddenly we've got a heavy shower battering off the windows. There we are, 2 chains and 3 trebles for the corner. And then we're on to doing the next group of front post double trebles, and it's going into the front posts of these 3 red treble stitches. Yarn over twice underneath the first one, pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over twice, find the middle one, pull through. Remember just to give yourself a nice slightly longer stitch here so that it comes up to the height of the round 3 stitches. There we go. And the third one. Now I'm going to go on and work around this square, and I'll see you back where I started and ready to start round 4. Right, so I have completed round 3 by finishing off the last group of double trebles front post stitches, and then the 3 trebles and chain 2 into the last corner, and I slip stitched into the top of the first chain 2. So that is round 3, and you can see how these front post stitches sit nicely on the top, and it pushes the pale green into the background. Now I'm going to flip it once more, and we're going to do round 4, which is the last round so far of this square, and I'm using the cream. And we're back to doing just a simple granny round around this one, groups of 3 trebles. So there's no front post stitches in this round, and I'm touching my yarn as usual in a corner and chain 2 as usual. And there's only one slight difference with this round that I want to show you. So there we are, I've done my 2 trebles in the corner. The first chain 2 is the equivalent of the first treble. Now here is my next chain space, or my next space between the granny stitches, and I'm going to put in 3 trebles in there. But I don't want this to flap too much. This is the back of the square, and I want that to be firmly anchored. So what I'm going to do is yarn over. I'm just going to find that space with my finger, and I'm going to actually go through the top. See that stitch sitting there? I'm going to go through it and the space to make my 3 trebles. Now that will just hold that flappy back bit where the front post stitches are in place. You can see that holds that firmly. So the easiest way to do it is to just use your finger to find that space between the grannies and find your stitch in the pale green, go through that and make 3 treble stitches through that. There you are. You see that's this, which is loose at the moment, is now anchored in. So I'm going to work around that square and I'll show you what it looks like when we get to the end. So I have worked all the way around my square, and you can see that by going through the pale green each time, it holds the back nicely and firmly in place. And I finished off as usual with my 2 chains and slip stitching into the first of the chain 2. And that's where you will leave that square for the moment until it's time to join them together, because it's the next round which is the joining round, and that will be dealt with separately. The only thing I would suggest you do is at this point, well, this is the wrong side, you can see what it looks like on the right side. Quite a pretty stitch and quite very simple to do. I would at this point I would just pull through any ends which appear on the front, because you're going to be sewing all these in on the back, and I would take the time to do that just now so that you've got nice neat squares when it comes to joining. So that's the Holly Square from the NOEL 9 patch blanket. Bye for now.